Mis amores, this is MASSI of DIYs. Welcome to my channel. Today I am super excited to share with you guys 5 farmhouse rustic DIYs made from Dollar Tree items. I hope you guys like it and enjoy the video, and let's go ahead and jump to the first tutorial. For the first DIY, I'll be using this tag looking sign from Dollar Tree. I first remove the bow on top, then I sanded all the glitter off. I gave the letters and the hearts 2 coats of white paint first, then I painted the whole sign, painting in the same direction, and just 1 coat of paint. We are going to paint the truck, but first we are tracing it with a Sharpie just in case we paint and then the lines of the truck won't be visible anymore. I mixed the 2 colors together to get this beautiful softer aqua color, then I painted the whole truck. Once that was done, I traced the truck with the Sharpie one more time. I want my truck to look older, so I decided to dab a small brush in a little bit of gray paint and tap it in some areas for a rusty look. I painted the 2 wheels with a Sharpie and made 2 little circles in the center with the same Sharpie, then added some shadows with a little bit of white paint. And I drew little lemons on the back of the truck. Mixed some white paint with a little bit of the yellow color to create a softer color, and then I painted the lemons. I dipped the brush in a little bit of white paint and then brushed it on the sides of the lemons to create some shadows. Then traced all the lemons with a Sharpie. Went on top with the yellow paint to fade the Sharpie lines a little bit. For the leaves, I'm using this green paint from Dollar Tree. I tapped this color on the sides of the lemons to create more dimension. And with a Sharpie, I wrote the word farm on the door. I want my sign to say Market Fresh Lemons, so using a little stencil from Walmart, I started from the outside in, starting with the last letter of the word, which is Market. I dabbed a little bit of black paint with a sponge, then removed the stencil carefully and used a hairdryer to dry the paint, and repeated the same steps for the other letters. For the word lemons, I know I want to use 2 colors, so I'm going to use the yellow as my shadow, and I don't know if I want to use black or gray yet until the sign is done, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep working on it, and then when I'm done with the sign, I'll know if I want to use the black color or the gray color. I made a small simple bow, then I made another bigger bow with a different ribbon, and both ribbons are from Hobby Lobby. Distressed the sign with a little bit of white paint, then added glue to the top of the sign to glue the first bow. This cute little lemon pig is from Michael's and it was 40% off. I cut 2 stems and glued them under each side of the bow. Now it's time to glue the smaller bow on top, and I added little flowers from the same pig in the center. I wanted my sign to look a little bit older, so using a sponge with just a tiny bit of a light brown color paint, I tapped the sponge in random areas until I was happy with the look. And for the final step, I decided to go with the gray color instead of the black on top of the yellow. second DIY, I'll be using this sign from Dollar Tree, and the first thing I did is to remove the inside. Then I'm going to spray paint the frame with this Rust-Oleum white spray paint that I found at Walmart. I removed the little tabs on the back. You just have to pull them up gently. Now we're going to cut a piece of this trash can, and I first placed the frame just to kind of have an idea to where to cut. Then I used my wire cutter, and then I went ahead and started using my scissors. Once I cut the big piece, I placed the frame one more time on top to make sure I was cutting the right size. Make sure the piece that you cut fits on the back of the frame, then add the glue and glue it. On this other Dollar Tree picture frame, I just want to use the metal piece that's inside. Before I go ahead and glue this piece on the sign, I went ahead and I glued some Dollar Tree rope on the sides inside the sign. Removed the little clip, then decided to distress it with a little bit of gray paint, and I did the same thing for the frame. Added glue to the back of the metal piece and glued it to the sign, then I added more glue on the back. Once that was done, I glued a little wreath that I made using a little piece from a garland that I'll be using on the next DIY. It's from Hobby Lobby. Then I added a small simple bow using the same ribbon from the first DIY. I'll be using the little cow from this stencil from Walmart. I am obsessed with this little cow. I want to use it in every single DIY and every single decor piece I own. I place the stencil in the center of the wreath, then tap the brush with the white paint and remove the stencil. To hang the sign, I just added glue to the back and glue a piece of twine from Dollar Tree. This part is completely optional. I glue pieces of ribbon on the back of the frame, and now the sign is ready to hang. The third DIY, I'll be using two canvas signs from Dollar Tree, and the first thing I did is to remove the canvas from both. I also took the little wood in the center for both of them, and I only painted one of them gray. With the hot glue, I glued both of them together. I paid less than $1 at Hobby Lobby after coupons for this wood piece, and I painted just the front white. I cut a piece of foam board to fit and push it from the top down, then flipped it and added just a little tiny bit of glue to the side. You can't add too much glue because the foam will melt. Then glue the word to the front of the box, and with white and gray paint I distressed the box. You can distress first and then add your word, or you don't have to distress the box, it's up to you. With the sandpaper, I sanded the top for a more rustic look. I cut two pieces of the moss to fit inside to cover the foam board. I painted white 3 clay pots from Dollar Tree, and I painted them with the same brush I used to paint gray the top of the box, so I'm kind of painting and distressing it at the same time. I then placed them inside the box and then wrapped the garland around. I cut little pieces of flower foam and I put them inside the clay pots. Inserted some onion grass from Dollar Tree inside the flower foam, and it was super easy to pull them out. This lavender pick is also from Dollar Tree, and I ended up using I think around 2 of them, and with my wire cutter I cut the stems from the lavender picks. Before inserting the lavender in the flower foam, I added moss inside to cover the foam, then went ahead and added the lavender. For the fourth DIY, I'll be using the rest of the trash can that we cut on the second DIY. I cut 2 pieces of cardboard to glue to the top and side with hot glue. I used these clippers from Dollar Tree so I don't have to hold it, and I just kept adding glue and repeated the same steps until I cover all the top with the cardboard. I'm covering the cardboard with Dollar Tree rope, so I added glue, glued the rope, and I went all the way around until I made it all the way to the top. I'm gonna use this part of the metal stake from Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna use it as the handle for my basket, and I glued both sides inside the basket. I wrapped a piece of rope all around the handle until all the metal was covered, and I glued both ends to the inside with some hot glue. Painted black one of these candle holders from Dollar Tree. Now with a metallic silver, gray, black and white paint, I'm going to make my piece look very rustic and very old by dabbing with a sponge the colors multiple times until I'm happy with the look. Started dabbing the silver first. Then I went ahead and went with the black and the white. Blended all the colors together with a clean sponge, then I went ahead and repeated the same steps, dabbing the colors one more time. Using this caramel color to make my piece look kind of rusty, so I just dabbed a little bit with the sponge, repeating the same step but this time just in a few areas. Place the basket on top. Then added glue to the center to glue the candle holder and the basket together. Used moss and greenery I already had from previous DIYs, and I just kept adding them until I made the basket a little bit more full so I can add the lemons. These lemons I got at Michael's. They were $7 and I got them 50% off. And the little tiny lemons are from the same picks we used for DIY number 1, and I just made a little bow on the top. You can use this decor piece all year long. For Easter you can add eggs, for fall you can add pumpkins, for Christmas you can add acorns, or you can add flowers. You can add whatever you want inside the basket. For the fifth and last DIY, I'll be using just one of these paper plate holders from Dollar Tree, and I spray painted it black with a super inexpensive black spray paint. So now that the paper plate holder looks more like a wheel, we are going to make it very rustic and very old and rusty. So we're going to use the same exact techniques we used on the previous DIYs. Just keep dabbing your colors until you get the look that you're going for. This reform is also from Dollar Tree. I place the wheel in the center, I turn both of them around, and I place a tape roll in the center just to make it higher so I don't have to be holding it when I add the glue all around to bond both pieces together. As the glue dry, I flipped it back to the front, and you'll see me wrapping it in a different burlap ribbon soon, and that's because I'm just using all the leftover burlap ribbons that I already have. You don't have to use burlap, you can use any other ribbon. And you just want to keep wrapping it all around until you cover all the metal areas. To make this DIY super duper affordable, what I did is I went to my bin where I have all the greenery that I used either for previous DIYs or I bought at Goodwill and I never found a DIY for them. And what I do is I see which one I have more of, and that's the first one I will glue on the wreath. What I do is I glue those and going in the same direction, and then the rest of the leaves that I have I'll just put in random places. If I put one here, I will put one in the other side. That way it looks full and even just by using greenery I already had. These pretty yellow flowers are from Dollar Tree, and I wanted to tone down the yellow a little bit, so I dabbed a little bit of white paint on them, and this way they also look more older. Remove the leaves from the stem and I repeated the same step. Glue the leaves on the wreath. Also added these pretty roses I found at Goodwill, but Dollar Tree has multiple flowers that you can use for this DIY. Glue leaves I already had in all the empty spaces to make everything look more full. Glue 3 little lemons to the front of the wreath. To hang the wreath, I'm using a piece of ribbon. I lost the clip of me cutting it and adding glue, but I just cut a little piece and I added glue. You can also do a knot, but I wanted the ribbon to be straight, so that's why I used the glue. And I made a bow using the same ribbon, and I'm going to glue it to the top of my other ribbon piece. Glue this little piece of twine on the back so I can hang the wreath.
And I know I'll never be alone. Wherever all my wishes may be heading, a part of us will never leave. Oh, wherever in the world you may be hiding, in a while I know you're coming home. Tonight I know.
Hey mis amores, thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, so you don't miss any of the videos I upload on this channel, and I will see y'all soon. Bye!